We now return you to your regularly scheduled podcast, already in progress.
So I'm on my time hop, and 9 years ago today I started Facebook.
Trump will never be president.
No, but the first comment on my wall is, now I get to insult your Bob Saget-looking ass on 2 websites. Thanks, Cuba.
I remember that.
Facebook is over fucking 9 years old. It's like a decade old.
Yeah.
What was the lifespan of MySpace?
Not that long.
I was going to say like 3 years, 4 years.
It was like the biggest thing in the world, too.
Oh, it
Well,
was.
they didn't integrate it into all my fucking logins and passwords.
Oh, dude, sweat my glitter tags. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sweat my sick playlist of Korn and Edema.
I used to have a playlist on my MySpace.
Yeah,
And that's what sucked about MySpace. Is well, it was like cool because you could customize it like that. But you go in someone's MySpace and it was bogged down to shit.
Well, because they had, like I said, glitter tags, like shit would go across the screen.
And little GIFs and shit.
Yeah. You're like, fuck.
Then again, internet was a lot slower then.
Yeah, you needed like a T1 or a T3 line. Like that was like a business line.
It was still like dial-up. I don't think it was...
No, I'm saying, but that was the best you could get.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that ain't
yeah.
shit now. That's like the lowest level you can get.
So welcome to part 2 of episode 11. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break this up. This is going to be the part 2 where we talk about some geeky shit.
There you go, nice. We've expunged ourselves.
Ooh, yes.
Let it go.
Do you feel better?
A little bit.
I don't, but... All right,
No,
anyways.
I know.
Walking recap.
Okay.
This is the recap for episode 3 of The Walking Dead's season
I
7.
believe it is called Cell.
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
Aaron, do you know?
I think so.
I want to say it was called Cell, which makes sense. I set it off last recap that I was here for. So did you want to start it off or?
Well, I recapped last episode on Monday.
Oh, okay. Well, then it'll be a joint effort. How's that? Bipartisan. This episode starts out with...
I'll, again, just frame it for new listeners.
Oh.
I have not caught up with The Walking Dead. I left off in season 5, so this is all news to me. I don't watch it. I don't read any of the reviews or anything like that. So I'm getting my Walking Dead recap as it happens right here. Take it away.
Okay. As Aaron explained for the past episode, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but last week's episode had to do with Carol and Morgan in the
Kingdom.
The Kingdom, thank you, and all that. So now we see what actually happens to Daryl. Daryl has been taken by the Saviors into Negan's compound. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's some sort of a warehouse or something like that, or a factory. And it shows they're trying to break Daryl. I guess if you wanted a really quick 2-sentence synopsis, the Saviors are trying to break Daryl, and they're trying to enroll him into Negan's top echelon crew to get him to work for him. You know?
And they're doing this by beating him?
Yeah, Guantanamo Bay style.
Yeah, they throw him in a cell and they feed him dog food sandwiches and they keep him in the dark and they play this. Oh God, what is this song? Easy Street. Do, 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 do. It's like the most chipper song ever, and it's
From the 1940s.
oh my God, and it's a life so sweet. Easy Street. Ba-doo, ba-doo. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was the soundtrack while Courtney was checking the election results.
I've heard a lot of people complain that they never want to hear that song again.
And they play it, and he's starting to break. And this episode gives some really good context to Dwight, which my biggest complaint about is you forget what happened with Dwight and Daryl and all that because of last season, that gigantic break. And he had some one episode where he met Daryl in the woods and this and that, and it was him and his wife and sister escaping from Negan, and they ended up going back. So it explained how Dwight, after his encounter with Daryl, decided to change and go back and beg his forgiveness, and Negan basically burned his face with an iron. They made a deal, and he got his wife, and it's some really weird fuckery going on. Negan tends to belittle Dwight and this and that, and Dwight just kind of bides his time because his thought is, hey, it's better than being dead, you know? Some really, really good characterization in this. Some good... I think this episode is going to be overlooked. I think a lot of people are going to complain about this episode in the long run because it wasn't it wasn't an action-heavy episode, and no gigantic revelations came in, but it's a lot of backstory.
Well, the last episode wasn't action heavy either, and I think it's because I think they're trying to balance like the intensity of that first the season premiere.
Yeah. But
this had a lot of like character intensity. It wasn't kind of.
It was a well-acted episode, definitely.
Yeah, it was very character based, and this was the first episode of this season that I was like, man, I wish this was a binge show. Like, I wish this just was released like a Luke Cage, because this episode is the filler between the action episodes, but it's such a good quality of acting and storytelling that they did a good job with. It's just like, if I had to watch this with commercials and have to wait a week to see it, it would have like grated on my nerves a little bit. Like, I want more. Give me more of this. I want to keep going.
I did watch it with commercials, and I was highly irritated. And that's not an adjusted talking shit about how there's commercials every 5 minutes, but it's actually a testament to how good the episode was acting-wise and story-wise, because every time the commercials hit, I was like, no, God, no, shit, I want to know. Tell me what happened. You know, I mean, Dwight's one of those characters that you hate because he has a certain, like, you know, you don't know why he hates Daryl so much. As in the first episode of this season, you know, he puts a crossbow up and he's like, you want me to do it? You want me to do it? Like, why does he hate Dwight so much, Daryl so much? And then you kind of realize it's more of like a self-loathing, you know, and he hates himself and he's questioning his decisions. Overall, I mean, it was a great episode, I think. There's been no missteps for a while. That's pretty incredible, considering that a few seasons ago, this show, I was ready to fucking throw the show in the trash.
The only thing that I maybe have a complaint about is just like, I need Negan to have a little less lightheartedness and more intensity, because his comedy is supposed to come from like his language, but he's really just supposed to be like, this is the way it is, and this is the way it's gonna be, you motherfucker. And he kind of has that bravado, but it almost seems very fake when you don't have the correct dialogue attached to it.
Well, see, I actually really like Negan in this. You know, I have an opposing opinion to yours. I mean, I really like it. I like the fact that he doesn't have to cave in skills. He doesn't have to be serious, because people know. Obviously, he's already scared these people in submission so much that he's currently fucking and trying to get Dwight's wife pregnant on purpose, and then throws it in his face and says, hey, man, Dwight, he calls him Dwighty boy, you know, good boy, like a dog, and he says, man, you've done so well. How about I'll let you have a little blast from the past from you-know-who. And then when Dwight, like, kind of gets, he's like, and you know, Negan throws it in his face completely. He's like, that's how much you can get away with. You know, I mean, when you think about it, remember that guy, how he took a picture, a Polaroid, of the head that got smashed in, from Glenn, I'm sorry? Mm-hmm. Remember in the previous season how Glenn is the one who found all those Polaroids up on the wall? There was like 40 of them. Mm-hmm. The way I look at that is that Negan has come across. Obviously, Rick's group is not the first group that Negan has come across. In my mind, headcanon-wise, every one of those Polaroids is a group, whether it's a big group or a small group, that Negan has come across. And obviously, everyone like Rick thinks they're the top dog, so he has to take them down a notch. So he beats one of their fucking heads in with Lucille. So, in my eyes, again, take what you want, he's come across 40 fucking groups of people, give or take, and each one of those he's had to fucking smash someone's head in. When you're running with a dude that you've seen do that repeatedly, you fall in fucking line, you know? I mean, I'm trying to, in my mind, I'm desperately looking for a Trump reference in there somewhere to tie this all together.
Enough of that, man.
I know.
No, my thing is, like, yeah, he should have that, like, the gallows humor that he does have in general, like, you know, like, oh, taking it like a champ, like just that sarcastic, you know, jaded kind of feel. But in this one, he almost seems like the dad from Supernatural, like he just seems very poppy and happy, but to a almost like a sitcom degree, not really as a funny show degree. Like, he should have some level of intensity with the sadistic happiness.
See, he does, though. He does, just not in this situation because he's on home turf. I mean, he's obviously going to act different around his guys that he knows. It's like Palpatine telling, like, you, like your father, will be my creature. And Palpatine,
my creature.
Whatever. Palpatine talks shit about Vader, and Vader's right fucking there. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the way Negan is. Like, Negan's like, fuck it. I don't have to watch what I say. I can say whatever I want. I don't have to be intense or crazy, because you saw how crazy he was in the first episode of the season when he was going to have Rick, how intense he was, how he was going to have Rick cut off fucking Carl's hand or arm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think in the next episode where you see in the little trailer thing, the coming up on next week, Negan and his crew go to Alexandria, and in the comic, Spencer tries to flip. I believe he goes to Negan, and what does he do, QB? He tries
I'm not that far.
You're not that. You're not.
No,
this far?
the show has surpassed me now.
No. Well, wow. So you haven't even got to Alexandria or anything like that?
No, I'm in Alexandria.
You haven't gotten to Negan though.
The second
at the very beginning of the Negan.
What?
Very beginning of Negan.
Okay. Well, spoilers. So hey, lucky yours, Cuba.
A lot. Everything except for the last end of the compendium has been spoiled for me. Oh, so don't. I know, like everybody dies. You just don't know how.
In the comic, there's a point where Spencer goes to Negan on the sneak tip, and he tries to tell Negan, "Hey, look, I'll kill Rick for you. I'll kill him, like while he sleeps. Just make me leader of this place, and I'll do whatever you want." And Negan just kind of looks at him and goes, "Nah, fuck you," and just guts him. Like right there in the middle of Alexandria, and like in between, like right next to a house, like on a porch, just sticks the hunting knife in his belly button and just tears it up to his throat and just disembowels him right there. And that's some shit that Negan would do. Like, he doesn't have to do that shit in this past episode because he's trying to break Daryl. You know what I mean? He wants to. I like it because it shows that he's fucked up, but in a weird way, he's fair. Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just the way it's being played. So, like, my idea of how Negan should be played isn't as bubbly or happy-go-lucky as the actor who's playing him is playing. Like, I feel like it should be a very dry, I'm doing this, it's matter-of-factly, and I'm gonna say some shit like, oh, that must have fucking hurt. Like, just like that really kind of quips, but just dry Irish, like, kind of
like the way
character.
he did in the first episode when he said, you a Southpaw kid? He said, he was like, no. He's like, does this hurt? Does that hurt? And he's like, no. He's like, well, it should. Like, he just, like, a tourniquet should hurt, I know what you're talking about. And I think we're gonna get that in this next episode.
That's part of, like, the downside of when something you read becomes something visual, because it's never the same in your head. And then if you watch it before, say you watch the show before you read the comic, then that's going to influence the way you in your head read the comic. But not most people, a lot of us have read the comic first. Yeah. And, so we have a certain Negan in our head.
Right.
Same thing with the Governor. I mean, this show dropped the ball fucking hardcore with the Governor.
It did. But dare I say, in these 3 past episodes, I think, personally, I think they've done the Governor pretty fucking...
You mean Negan?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Negan. They done him justice.
Well, they have to make up for the Governor.
Yeah.
The Governor... I know Negan is a different villain from the Governor. Like, the Governor was just pure sadism.
Right. But Negan, where I was saying was he's completely fucked up and a dictator and he's awful. But how he's kind of fair is, as long as you play by his rules, you're okay.
Right.
Once you step outside of his lines, like Daryl, that's why he killed Glenn. He said, "I told you I would shut that shit down." He's like, "I gave you a fucking chance."
Right. Oh, well, that's fine. Again, it sounds like they're doing Negan well, but it's because they fucked up so bad with the Governor.
Yeah.
They changed him, so they fundamentally changed him. He should not have been the Governor.
Right.
Because
Danny Trejo should have been the governor.
Absolutely. I mean, even physically, forget the fact that the TV version didn't look like the governor. He didn't act like the governor.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like you couldn't have got Danny Trejo. I mean, that guy does fucking like rental car friggin' commercials.
Yeah, I mean, they did this weird back and forth where they constantly tried to make the governor not a bad guy.
They try to humanize him.
Right.
And that's not what you...
And that's why he's I can't say better villain than Negan, but that's why he's a different villain than Negan, because in the comic, upon first meeting the governor...
Yeah, in the first two...
he's like, "Hi, Rick, nice to meet you." And he chops off his fucking hand.
Yeah, that was literally, I believe it's on the second page you meet Negan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to say it's on the second page you meet... I'm sorry. God damn
governor.
it. The governor. Sorry, I keep fucking these up because I haven't watched those seasons in such a long time. The second page you meet the governor, he hacks off his hand with Rick's hand.
Right. For no reason.
Yeah.
It's not like, now you're going to obey me. It was just like, your hand's gone because I felt like cutting it off.
Yeah. But, I mean, and in the comic, I mean, you know, he has his zombie... That's one thing they never really touched upon. Like, all of his zombie daughter's teeth were pulled out so he could, like, give daddy a kiss. And he, like, makes out with her.
Yeah, that was...
It was super unsettling in every form. And that's why, like, the heads in the fish tanks bother you more. Because you're like, what is he doing with those things?
Right. Do they all have no teeth?
Yeah,
He's
but
doing
in the
that
show,
Hillary
it wasn't-
blowjob thing.
I know, like, every time I go back to my Facebook page, I go, ugh, because that's the last fucking image in our messenger, because it's this fucking Hillary blowjob. And it's just like, I'm like, God fucking damn it.
Sorry. Yeah, I would say there was points, I'd have to go back and watch, where they did cool things with the governor. Like, I do like that one episode, although it doesn't fit tonally with the comic, where the governor kind of became like Kane from the old show Kung Fu. He had the long hair. And like,
I agree.
And if they followed that line,
Yep.
and he just went off, and like, say he did his thing in that episode, and then just started... He Forrest Gumped it with the beard and everything, and just didn't say it's time. I think I'm going to go home now. Just started walking, just started run, and I started running.
I just felt like running.
And he just went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you never seen him again.
Right.
That would have been great.
Absolutely. No, that's definitely one thing. It's like, all right, you changed the character so fundamentally from the comic book that this is not the same governor, and then, like, yeah, he like killed all his dudes because it was. Just like in the comic, he attacks the prison, and they fail.
Yeah,
you're
first time.
like, whoa, wow, they failed. Like, we're expecting this slaughter, but it didn't happen. And he killed his dudes and disappeared. And then when we see him again, yeah, he went on a walkabout, and
I like that. A walkabout. Your little hand motion you made. A walkabout.
And he became a different person, and he became a good person. He like found a surrogate family. And everything was different. And it's like, okay, just like with Shane, just like what they did with Shane, they didn't kill Shane when he was supposed to die. They extended the story, and I'm like, okay, I want to see where this goes.
They even give you an episode with Shane where it's like him and Rick hate each other, and then
they fucking fight it out, and they're cool.
And then they're cool. And then in the very next episode, it's like it negated that.
Absolutely.
And I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
I fucking hated that. Huge misstep.
Absolutely.
I will give you that.
We talked about that when we used to do the walking recap on the previous show, that on the previous podcast, that is definitely one of the most egregious episodes that they've ever done, because the way they ended that episode, you get the absolute 100% sense that, like, okay, they're cool now. Because of the way they looked at each other, the way they acted towards each other at the end of that episode, said that everything's cool now.
It's a great episode too. Not taken away from that one episode, but it's the next episode that fucks it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Same thing with the governor. Same thing with the governor. Thank you, Aaron, for sending the puffin.
It's a link to a Trump conspiracy. You can watch it later.
Yeah. So same thing with the governor. They give him this whole new life. He has this new family, and you're like, okay, he's different now. And then, for no reason, he's like, we got to build an army and take that prison. It's like, wait, what?
I know.
What?
Yeah,
it's like, why are you going backwards? Why are you going backwards?
They tried at that point. They were like, "Oh, fuck, we gotta go back to the comic," and that's why I think with would they have a kernel of a good idea like that, and then actually going back to the comic is a misstep,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like
because they found like that huge herd.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they ever addressed again. They just saw it in the distance, and they never did anything with it. And what I thought that what they were going to do was that the governor and Rick's group were going to encounter each other again, and they're going to have to like become reluctant allies,
which would have been cool
to deal with this herd. Right? It's like, all right, you're going to deviate from the comic, go deviate balls fucking deep.
Even if you did something like that where they were like reluctant allies, but there were still huge tensions, and then maybe in the middle of the fight between the those two groups and the walkers, they were separate, and a stray bullet went and hit like somebody that the governor was close to, maybe that someone in that family, that surrogate family,
yeah.
And then that's what causes him to snap, like, wait, what? We're doing, so this is what we're doing? And then that causes him to be like, no, fuck you. And then he takes a shot at Rick, and then Rick's like, what the fuck? And takes a shot at him. And then...
we're not even fucking Hollywood writers. And
I
we
know.
came up with a way better storyline than what they did.
So it's like an accidental, and that, not only that, but that narratively shows like, fuck, man, no matter what, even though both these guys tried their best, you have one guy who's good but slips into evil, and one guy who's evil but slipped into good. You know, that you have Rick and the governor trying to fucking come together like two mismatched puzzle pieces smashed together like with a chimp.
You do look like the chimp with the
rocks.
Yeah.
You know? And like even that, even though they tried so hard, no matter what you do, it still got fucked up.
Yeah. So
You know?
Again, this is why I stopped watching the show, because so many missteps that I just said, fuck it. And I'll get around to it one day, but it's not on my radar right now. I have other priorities, so I leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, legitimately, I will say, and Aaron will corroborate this, it has gotten so much better in these past, 2.5, 3 seasons?
Yeah, it actually feels like a Netflix type of show. Like they upped the game.
Yeah, I'll put it this way, I don't feel like my Sunday is wasted. My Sunday hour of prime time is no longer wasted.
Now,
and that's the highest praise I can give you.
Have either one of you watched Fear the Walking Dead?
I watched the first season.
I tried watching a couple episodes, and it was so slow, and like it felt like Terra Nova, where it was like cool concept, love it. But I got so bogged down in like the ABC family shit where I was like, I've seen this all before. I don't give a fuck. I've seen the family drama. Get to some crazy shit.
Like, is it redundant?
It feels like it to me, but
it gets to a point of it's like just it's a different zombie movie. Like it's not end of the world. It's like the kind where they're trapped in the mall.
It's the beginning of the outbreak is what this. Yeah.
But
that,
none of
that. Go ahead, buddy.
None of the characters are likable, like at all. They're all awful, and they have like you said, the family drama. It's like what the fuck am I watching? This is the goddamn end of the world. What the hell are you fighting about?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, and part of me, I'm torn because I'm like, I hate the fucking writers of The Walking Dead, so I think that show is at its worst when they make up their own shit. So now we have this show from the same writers, creative group, that is completely made up, not based on anything.
I think they moved all the bad writers from The Walking Dead into that show, and like they brought in new blood for this show now that we're getting.
That's a good fucking a good hypothesis.
Like we can't just fire them. Let's give them their own project.
Wow. So it's not worth seeing then. Fear the Walking Dead.
No, you could completely fucking ignore it if you want extra zombies in your life.
Yeah, I mean, which sucks because, again, I feel like it could have potential. It's a different story, a different group of people in a different part of the country.
People are so sick and tired of zombies right now, but I don't think they're sick of zombies. I think they're sick of, like, just done shittily. You know, because you could make Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead, The Walking Dead cometh.
Well, that's another thing. That's a terrible title. Fear the Walking Dead.
It is. You could make 10 different of these and make them all completely different. You can put them in different parts of the world, or you can make it like what happens on this one I don't know, like this one town, like what happens if you seen like or remember Dawn of the Dead, how they were closed up in that mall, and then there was the one guy in the gun store, Andy, across the way, and they were like little things like that. That's what makes these shows good.
I think we just needed a television version of World War Z.
We do.
Because that
I
was
will
a
say,
terrible movie.
aesthetically, I will say that I am turned off by Fear the Walking Dead because of like this weird red-orange filter that is on absolutely every shot they do. I don't know. Have you noticed that, Aaron, or is that just me? I don't know if it's like...
I've seen that in the trailers, and I'm like, are they implying that's supposed to be California sunlight?
Yeah, like I'm like,
That's
what the
exactly
fuck?
it.
Is that what...
Goddamn Instagram filter.
I'm like, is that what LA looks like? Is that like smog filtering the yellow light out, and you only get red light? Would Superman not be able to hang out in there because it's a red sun?
I think Superman would legit have a tough time in LA because that smog cloud is legit.
No yellow light coming through that bitch.
I thought that was just like a movie myth, but no, that like LA does have that layer of shit.
Yeah,
Gross.
but yeah. So, I mean,
So good episode overall. Episode 3 of season 7 going well.
Yes, I would say they're definitely doing well. I didn't get a chance to talk about last episode. I don't know what points Aaron touched about the kingdom and all that. Because I
We can hear your thoughts.
I think the guy they chose to do King Ezekiel, excellent. I think he's utterly fantastic. I like this guy a lot. It was a good narrative wise. It was good to see finally get Carol. You all right? Whoa, you have a little seizure there? What happened?
No, that was I was trying to do a silent sneeze so I didn't ruin the fucking podcast.
Well, it looked like you reached around and gave you.
Let's call attention to it.
Exactly.
Well, if you saw the look on his face, it looked like he took a stick and jammed it in his pee hole. It was like, oh.
Well, the sneeze is 1/10 an orgasm coming out of your face, so you you make funny faces when you have it. If my wife was down here with us, she would just give me that rolly eye look, sideways rolly eye look, because she's like, you're not supposed to hold him in. You got to let him out. And I'd be like, I'm fucking podcasting. I can't. Look, we've spent like a minute now talking about my fucking sneeze that we wouldn't otherwise talk about.
I know. So, Walking Dead, last week, Tiger, Shiva. Great CGI for that fucking tiger.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said. I was like, are you sure it's not a real tiger?
Oh, it's absolutely CGI.
Yeah.
But not as good as Life of Pi, because that was like movie film. You know what I mean? But this is probably as good as you'll get of a giant cat on screen. Especially that opening shot, Aaron, where King Ezekiel's in like the auditorium or whatever
That's
it
what I
is.
said.
And
The
she's like
special
pacing
effects
and,
in this are, I don't know if it's a real cat or half real cat with half CG, but the special effects look amazing.
It actually makes you take a step back.
Those look pretty good.
It's like straight out
I'm
of
looking at a little GIF right now.
like a Jungle Book. Like they took the CGI model
it's
from
not
that
quite,
thing.
Yeah. It's not quite that far, because there are times where you can see like when the light doesn't hit quite right, the chain doesn't look, but it's as good as you're ever going to see in a TV show at this point. It was imposing and realistic enough to where it actually made me do this, go back a little bit. When Carol, in the end of that episode, she opens the door and it's Ezekiel and literally Shiva the tiger's head right fucking there, like right next to her. I was like, oh my god, and instinctively I was like, how is Carol not running right now? It's really fucking cool.
Because she's Shibo.
Shiva?
No, Shibo.
It's Shiva.
Shibo.
Who the fuck's Shibo?
Female Rambo. Shibo.
Wow, wow.
God damn it, Cuba. Wow. God damn it, you dropped it. You fumbled
Good
it.
night, everybody.
So yeah, high praise for these past 3 episodes. And preview for next week's episode looks great too. I can't wait.
All right. Sounds good. We
Do we have any other? I'm gonna get real close.
Oh, he's right on that.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a little bit of news. Pacific Rim 2 is actually happening and begins filming today.
It got greenlit.
Greenlit in...
It took the end of the world for that movie to get a sequel.
Which, again, that's That's one of those movies I had no interest in seeing, and Aaron forced me to watch it. Which is how I've seen a lot of my movies.
It's how most of Aaron's girlfriends have.
But you
seen
can't
movies
say
also.
that my picks weren't fantastic.
Look, I'll say this about your forced movie watching is that I've watched a lot of movies that I've enjoyed because you've made me watch them.
Because he grabbed you by the pussy.
He grabbed me by the pussy, he sat me down, and he goes, "You were gonna watch this." But
I need someone to know what I'm going through.
in all fairness, that was when you lived 10 minutes away. So my movie watching has gone severely down now that you're like 45 minutes away.
We gotta get like a monthly movie night, man.
Do we yeah, what happened to that monthly? Let's go to let's meet at a neutral halfway point
I'm
restaurant.
still down.
And have a
You
couple
want to go
drinks.
get some
We've
dinner?
done that twice.
You had a baby, Cuba. That's not on
Yeah.
us.
That doesn't prevent me from going anywhere.
Dude, shut up. Don't let your wife hear that.
She's upstairs. She's two stories above us.
I know. I was doing it for humor.
Oh my god.
I can do what I want. You know what I'm doing tomorrow?
Man, he's 2 beers in and he's already talking shit.
I didn't eat much today.
I'm
Can I just
man.
share some of these memes?
I'm a man.
These memes are fucking riot.
I could do my own madness. Now, you know what I'm doing tomorrow? After I spend my day job of taking care of the damn kid, I'm gonna go take care of the other damn kid by going to a parent-teacher conference, and then I'm coming home, putting her to bed, and going to the bar.
Really?
Yeah,
With who?
by myself because it's the bar that Keela works at.
So, you want to hear something bullshit? And this is
So boom, I do what I want.
want to hear something bullshit? And this is
No,
like
you do what your wife allows you to do.
Please, let's hear your bullshit. Aaron.
dad's talking to other dads. So, you've met my stepdaughter to be a coda. Motherfucker is like a master musician. Like, she can sing, she can play fucking. She just teaches herself how to play musical instruments and shit. Like, she switched to public school and she's been trying to get into chorus or like advanced chorus because her other school didn't have extracurriculars for music. She gets her report card from the music class and it's 88 for no class participation. Like, the most fucked up like old lady runs this goddamn class and doesn't see that this kid has like music in her blood, and is like, they have this whole like chorus thing going on where they're gonna perform in front of the class, and she's like, she didn't get chosen for advanced course. She goes, what can I do to be better and maybe get it next time? And the teacher said, nothing, the other kids were just better than you.
Well, sometimes you gotta shoot it straight.
So is it because they're better than her, or is it because she's not applying herself in a outward manner, which is making the other teachers defer to other kids instead?
Right. Like, is she actually not participating? Because
I can't see that being the case because
Participation.
in her other school she was like given awards for helping kids who didn't understand like subject matter or
yeah,
music.
but when you go to a school with 10 other people, it's different.
Yeah, but I will say
it's that her
to
voice
the point
isn't
of,
like, you know, it's not classical la 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 for like chorus. She's got that like raspy soul voice, and I think, and because this teacher's over 70, she's like, well, that's just not how it's done.
well, then maybe this music course in this school isn't for her, and she needs to find some other outlet. I mean, YouTube is one hell of a thing. I mean, Christ, Jalen's biggest idol right now is a girl, I think she's like 12, named Grace Wonderwall, or I think it's, Grace Vanderwall. And she just won one of those competition, like American Idol style shows, the $1 Million Thing and all that. And she was at 12, she plays a ukulele, and she sings, not covers, but original songs on YouTube, and that's how she got her start. So
Jeez.
maybe she needs to either start something like that, or we have in Taunton, we have a place called Bandstand Live where you can go and just like jam out with other people.
Oh yeah. Well, there's like she has a YouTube channel, so we've been like saying, do that on your YouTube channel, like make more music and shit like that. But But
Well,
it's funny because
she can sing and she can
the rest
play.
of her report card is all A's except for music, which is the one thing she absolutely 100% excels at in just normal life. So it's like, what the fuck is wrong with this school?
I will say that I'm artistic, and when I was a kid, I almost failed art class because
I was gonna say me
I
too.
saw it as bullshit because they're teaching us shit in like same thing, like, you know, they're like, oh, he doesn't participate or he doesn't try. And like, why aren't you trying? Don't you like art? I'm like, yeah, but this class is bullshit.
I had the same thing in 8th grade at Martin Middle School, okay? They were showing us this. I remember doing this shit in the 4th fucking grade where they made you put a yardstick across this piece of paper, and it was all about perspectives, and it was like making buildings and like 3D buildings using the horizon and all that shit. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I've done that, and I spent like the entire 8th grade year doing nothing but drawing Todd McFarlane Spawn covers. The Violator, like all my favorite characters. Spawn, the Violator, the guy, everything. And although I was far more technically skilled than any other kid in there, because I didn't do the assignments he wanted to, even though and they were, like, objectively speaking, 15 years later, they were far below my skill level at the time, and my potential was being wasted on this shit. He failed me. I failed art class in 8th grade because of that.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like they're too advanced for the class, and it comes down to the teacher too. Because I've had shitty art teachers
Oh,
where like the same thing
crush
where
you,
they're
yeah.
like, you need to learn traditional oil paintings and perspective and stuff like that. That's fine. Like, you kind of have to teach that, but you can't hammer that shit. Like, and then I've had other art teachers they're like, art is just a form of expression, and this is what we're gonna do. Like, you know, we're gonna work within this medium, and I'm gonna give you this task, and then use your imagination for the rest. And that's how, like, this is a future dream of mine, is to have, like, I would like to one day be part of or open some sort of like community art center, and that's like how I
This
would.
is like an 80s movie in here.
That's how.
How do I reach these kids?
That's how I would teach my art. I'm not teaching art. I'm letting you do the art, and I'm just giving you the framework to work within.
Exactly. That's the perfect way. I mean, and not only that, but if it sounds rough to say, but if you do have, and this sounds like I'm putting myself on some sort of pedestal, and I'm not, but back then I was by far in the entire school the best artist. My shit was always plastered whenever I made it. Everybody, you know. So when you have a standout student, and it was the only thing I stood out for, to be completely honest, I was a shitty student. You need to be, if you're a teacher, you need to nurture that. Like, maybe, it sucks to say, like, oh, give them special treatment, but maybe nurture that instead of trying to squish it into what you think they should do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's ways to work around that, you know, for people who are truly gifted. And that's what sucks about Dakota. I mean, she's really, really good. So, do they have talent shows at the school and stuff?
We'll find out. It's still middle school.
I mean, if
so.
Just find out of school music things.
I would say
I've been telling her
find
to
a
go to the
local-
subway for several years to pay for her Xbox Live subscription.
There's no Subway in Rhode Island.
She's like 13. Don't tell her to go to a subway by herself. You fucking
So they
Jesus
have, like,
Christ.
open mic nights. She's had like, she's been to.
Yeah, she
she's-
needs to find some place
She's
like
like,
that.
she's gone to voice lessons like continually since I've known her, and like piano lessons and all that. It's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta find like an open mic night or anything where she can get on a stage with a microphone, even if it's like crashing some fucking asshole's poetry jam. You know, like a slam,
You don't even
poetry
need to
slam.
crash. I mean, there's so many
an open mic night, I know
cafes and shit that, like, that they have that. It's open jam session nights and Wednesdays at, like, you know, the Coffee Bean or something like that.
Yeah.
And especially
Central Perk.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of from Friends. I hate it.
especially in Providence, I'm sure there's got to be half a dozen places like that, and you're not that far from Providence.
It's weird. Providence is like a grungy version of it's like a retarded little brother version of Boston, but it is kind of artsy. You gotta say
Yeah,
that.
That's the only thing
yeah.
it really has going for it is that it's artsy because RISD and shit's there.
Yeah, Providence is like the autistic, smaller, like younger cousin of Boston.
Yeah, like you know that autistic kid who, when he's like taking a flyover in like a jet over a city, and then can draw the entire skyline from memory.
Let's just put it as
Rhode Island.
it's the younger retarded brother that's eating paste, but figures out you can put glitter on that paste.
It's pretty now.
I poop glitter.
Oh, we're going to hell.
Good night, everybody.
Going to hell. I say when it's time to good night.
It's good. All right, then. You're the new Trump of the podcast.
I am. God damn
He's
it.
like, I make
Get
the
out
rules.
of my country.
It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be the best podcast.
Aaron, what are your thoughts?
You're gonna be so sick of podcasts once you're done podcasting with us.
What are your thoughts, if you've followed this at all, on the controversy with the Iron Man cover from J. Scott Campbell?
I do not know.
Okay, so you know how I'm not following the comics exactly, but Tony Stark is going to no longer be Iron Man, and this a new person's going to be Iron Man. This 15 or 16-year-old black genius girl builds her own armor and becomes the new Iron Man, who I guess the name is going to be Ironheart. So Ironheart #1 is going to be coming out this month, next month, very soon. And there's, as with every comic, there's like 30 fucking variant covers. And J. Scott Campbell did one of the variant covers, and it was actually pulled from Marvel because so many people were upset about the cover because of the way he drew her. Let's see, Roy, you're hanging over the laptop, so I'll find you the picture so you can look at it if it loads properly. So anyways, people are like, oh, it's just a pinup, it's a pinup drawing. It's all right. So all the controversy is that it's a pinup drawing, which I'll give it. J. Scott Campbell is essentially a pinup artist. Yeah. I mean, he really doesn't do much beyond that.
If you ever followed Danger Girl, he's got a very like sexy pinup girl kind of artistic style.
Right. And the people are complaining about this is she's like in a crop top. She's very curvaceous. She's supposed to be 15. So they're complaining that he's over-sexualized a 15-year-old, and then he's lightened her skin. Every other artist, like the from the original cover art to every other artist who made a variant cover, has made her darker skinned, but he made her very, very, very light skinned. So it became a big controversy, and Marvel pulled the comic, and he kind of complained about it in a passive aggressive way. But then, for fun, he on his Instagram, he just last week redrew it very differently, and it's her like cradling her Iron Man armor that she just made. She looks much younger. Her hairstyle is a little different, but her skin tone is much darker, more in line with how she's actually depicted in the actual comic book. And everybody loves this cover, and even though he did it for fun, Marvel actually bought the cover, and now it's going to be the new variant replacing his variant that was pulled. So I was just curious of what your thoughts on that were.
And that's good. I mean, I just looked at his other...
No, that's good. Good night,
I mean,
everybody.
like, I just looked at both covers, and yeah, he just kind of was on autopilot and did a cover that was, anybody could do the fucking cover that he did before. This one actually took some thought, and...
Yeah, no, I like his second version way better. His first version looks like very lazy.
It looks like something a high schooler would come up with.
It really does. Like,
proportions are all wrong. It's just
absolutely. I was just about to say that. Like, you guys know me. I am known for making giant heads and just not very good with proportion. That's one of my, not strengths. Weaknesses as not my
That was very political.
I know.
Instead of saying one of my weaknesses, he says one of my not strengths.
We've been podcasting for going on 2 hours, man. I'm 2 hours, 2 drinks. I'm running out. But no, it's not my strength. And that first cover looks so fucking lazy. The background is lazy, and I understand what people are complaining about, how he over-sexualized her. She's supposed to be 15.
The funny thing, though, is that in reality, the only problem I see with this is these two lines right here, the pelvic right here, bang, and that one, which gives the, it brings your
Points
attention
to her crotch.
Yeah, it makes you think automatically, even though it doesn't have an obvious, it makes you think like, oh shit, like camel toe, I guess you could say. Well, I try to think of a better word instead of saying like lippage. I don't fucking know.
Right.
But this one, obviously, she looks much, much younger. And as for the skin tone, I mean, in the other one, it does look a little lighter, but I don't know if it was just, again, like you said, laziness. I don't think he was trying to whitewash it.
No, I don't think he was trying to whitewash it.
Her features are still obviously of darker.
I'm trying to see if I can find the actual. Yeah, this is the actual #1 cover. Like, that's the real cover, and everything else is a variant. She's supposed to be, like, intentionally, because Marvel's going very multicultural, she's intentionally supposed to be not very dark, but dark-skinned. He made her very light-skinned in that original cover. And again, I don't know if that was an intentional thing. I think it just all comes down to laziness. And I really like his second cover a lot more, because...
Well, you could tell, like Aaron said, he put a lot more thought and actual work into
Absolutely, because the premise behind this character is that, like I said, she's 15, and she's supposed to be a genius because she built her own working Iron Man suit at the age of 15, which is why she replaces Tony Stark as Iron Man.
So Tony Stark is no longer Iron Man in the main continuity?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something at the end of Civil War II makes him... I think his body gets destroyed. In his mind, he downloads into a computer, so he's sort of like the new Jarvis.
That's weird.
Yeah. Marvel's constantly killing and bringing people back to life, so I'm just waiting for Wolverine to come back.
Yeah, somebody will punch reality and reset the whole universe. I mean, I don't know. I like the art, and
I was never like... I like his art, but he's not like one of my favorite artists. He really is just... a pin-up artist.
Yeah, he's middling.
Yeah.
Middling at best.
He's never done anything where I'm like, wow, that's good. It's like, all your women look exactly the same. You barely ever draw men, but they all look exactly the same. Yeah. He's just a he's a famous artist, but just like, his style is his style, but not anything wowing. But I definitely like this second comic book cover. But I was just curious to get Aaron's take on it, because I will say that his art reminds me of like the poor man's Michael Turner.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That's what I've always thought. Whenever I see his art, I'm like, you're like you're like the Walmart Michael Turner. Michael Turner is like the high end fashion style, and J. Scott Campbell is just like the Walmart knockoff.
He's not even at Target.
No, Target's high class.
Oh.
Target.
Damn. Okay, though. I got you.
He's the Hydrox of the
cookie. Michael Turner was Fifth Avenue, and and this guy's Walmart. Target's for the middle class, and Walmart's for just the poor.
Okay.
That reminds me.
Shut up, man.
That reminds me, man. We gotta get going. I need to go draw my Trump troopers.
All right, you want to end this?
All right, we'll end this episode here. This has been the Modern Retro, episode 11, parts 1 and 2.
Should we just call this episode
1
12?
consisting of... No, this is 11, part 2.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out in editing. Thanks for listening. We hope you're not as depressed as everyone else, and we are, but hopefully you'll come out of it, because, like Obama said, the sun will rise in the morning. You got to look at a glass half full.
Hopefully it does. I don't know. Trump might fucking decide to throw a nuke at it, right?
Maybe he'll block out the sun like Mr. Burns with a gigantic fan
Just
thing.
keep checking your YouTubes and your Yahoo Newses and all the CNNs, and just make sure this motherfucker ain't doing some shit.
And in the meantime, while you're doing all that, what's even more important is you check out us on
That was excellent. That was excellent.
on iTunes and on Stitcher and our own website, modernretrocast.com, which will take you to the iTunes and Stitcher. By the time this is up, I promise that I will have our YouTube page going where you can listen to the episodes on YouTube as well. So that'll be there, so check that out. You can message us anything on modernretrocast@gmail.com, and obviously you can also send us any messages on Facebook, Twitter, and our own website. So this has been the episode, guys. Thanks for sticking with us for these 11 episodes and listen to all this ramble and bullshit.
Yeah, we like doing it, and we will continue to do it as
Whether you like it or not.
That's right. It's our therapy.
Can I say it? Good night, everybody.
That's great, it starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes, an aeroplane. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. Let's go! I am a hurricane, listen to yourself, turn worlds to its own knees. Don't serve your own needs, beat it up with not speed, grunt, no strength, on blast. Just a planet with a fear hike, down high, wire in the fire, represent the 7 games in a government for hire and a combat site. Rapture wasn't coming in a hurry with the fury spinning down your head. Team reporters, pebble drop, telegraph, look at that low plane. Fine, then, overflow, population, common group, and it'll do. Serve yourself, world serve its own needs. Listen to your heart bleed, tell me with the ration and the reverend and the right. Patriot, slap, fight, bright light, feeling free, sign. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine.